Okay, with this video we're going to talk about subtracting mixed numbers. And for the most part, subtracting mixed numbers is just like adding mixed numbers. However, there's one instance where we have to do things a little bit differently. So let's look at the first example here. 8 2/3 minus 4 1/8. Again, we have to find a least common multiple. So in this case, our least common multiple is going to be 24. And a lot of times we can multiply the numerators to get together. The denominators together. 3 times 8 is 24, and it will give us least common multiple. A lot of times, not always. But in any way, it'll always give you a common denominator. So, again, to go from 3 to 24, I had to multiply by 8. So I'm going to multiply the top by 8, and that's going to give me 16. To get the from 8 to 24, I had to multiply by 3, and so I'll do the same thing on top. So if I have 16 minus 3 is going to give me 13 over 24. 8 minus 4 gives me 4, and my answer is 4 13/24. Moving along to the next one here, I have 6 1/5 minus 2 3/4. Again, we could try to do this, multiply the two denominators together, so 5 times 4 gives us 20, and in this case that is indeed the least common multiple, so that's going to be our common denominator. To get from 5 to 20, I multiply by 4, so let's multiply the top by 4 as well, and that'll give us 4. And to get from 4 to 20, I multiply by 5, so I'm going to do the same thing up top. Multiply 3 by 5 is going to give me 15. Now here's one of those special circumstances where we don't do it exactly the same way. So I have 4/20 minus 15/20, so essentially I have to borrow. So I'm going to borrow from the 6. The 6 is going to become a 5. So essentially I borrowed 1 from the 6 to add on to the 4/20. So I like to look at that as, say, instead of having 4/20, I now have 1 4/20. Because I added that 1 there. So what I can do is just change this 1 4/20 into an improper fraction. And that'll become 24 over 20. I did that by taking 1 times 20 plus 4. So I have 24 over 20. I can now subtract 15 over 20 from that. So 24/20 minus 15/20 is going to give me 9/20. And 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3. So my final answer is 3 9/20. Alright, moving along to number 3 here, we have 7 2/9 minus 1 1/4. Okay, we can go ahead and let's find a common denominator, our least common multiple. Alright, so in this case it's going to be 36. It's the smallest number that both 9 and 4 go into evenly. So to get from 9 to 36, I had to multiply by 4. So I'm going to do the same thing up top, and then it'll give me 8 over 36. To get from 4 to 36, I had to multiply by 9. So multiply the top by 9 is going to give me 9 over 36. Now again, here's one of those circumstances where I can't do 8 over 36 minus 9 over 36, so I'm going to have to borrow again. I borrow from the whole number, so that 7 becomes a 6. Now instead of 8 over 36, I have 1 8/36. So now let's just change this into an improper fraction, and that will become 44 over 36. Again, I'm going to get that by doing 1 times 36 plus 8 gives me 44. So 44 minus 9 is going to give me 35. So I'm left with 35 over 36. We do our whole number. 6 minus 1 is going to give me 5. And final answer, can't reduce that any further. Last one here, we have 16 3/8 minus 12 7/12. Common denominator here is going to be 24. The least common denominator is going to be 24. And remember in the beginning I said a lot of times you can multiply the denominators together. In this case, 8 times 12 is going to give us 96. That is not the least common multiple. So it's a trick that works sometimes. So to get from 8 to 24, I multiplied by 3. Let's multiply the top by 3. It's going to give me 9. From 12 to 24 is times 2. So let's multiply the 7 times 2, and it'll give me 14. Okay, one more time here with our borrowing. The 16 is going to become a 15. Now instead of 9 over 24, I have 1 and 9 over 24. Let's change that into an improper fraction. It's going to be 33 over 24. Again, I multiply 1 times 24 plus 9 is going to give me 33. So I can now do 33 over 24 minus 14 over 24. All right, and that's going to give me a 19 over 24. And let's take care of all whole numbers. 15 minus 12 is going to give me 3. And final answer, I cannot reduce that any further. And that is subtracting mixed numbers.